Hey everyone, this is a quick video directed to apprentices. I see a lot of questions from apprentices on the internet, on social media, on what they need to do to succeed, why they're not succeeding. And I think from my own experience and what I've observed with other apprentices that I've worked with in the past, the biggest thing that I see deficient is the time you're putting in outside of work to further yourself in this trade. Your employer's responsibility to you is to provide you with a wage that's equal to the labor you're giving him and a safe working environment. Beyond that, your success and your advancement in this trade is 100%, in my opinion, what you're putting into yourself after hours and on your own time. If you're not eating, breathing, drinking, and sleeping this trade for the first few years, and I mean, you really should always be, but at least the first few years, you're never going to catch up. This trade, even the guys that have been in 30 years, have put in their time, have been to every school, studied everything, read every book, worked on every piece of equipment. There's still going to be things every year that come out they're going to have no idea about. This trade is ever evolving. The technology is not going to stop, particularly this trade. Even those people are going to have learning curves constantly arising. So if you're coming into this trade brand new and waiting for your journeyman or whoever you're riding with to do 100% of your education, you're in for a big shock. Now, I know you got a lot of techs out there that knock school and say it's waste of money, it's worthless. I can see that. I mean, I can see the argument there. I did go to school. I had it paid through the GI Bill, but maybe I would have been in that mindset too if I had to come out of pocket for it. That argument's invalid, though, if you're referring to putting time into books on your own after hours. To me, if you're not reading literature, you're not reading bulletins, textbooks, or even YouTube, something outside of work, you're not going to get anywhere just from those 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Or at least it's going to be a terribly slow curve for you. So I guess what I'm saying is, you just like anything, you've got to put time into yourself in this trade. And if you've got poor mentorship, that's another reason to be even more serious about that. The first person when I first came into this trade that I rode with was a poor excuse of a technician, and terrible practices, bad advice. You can still turn that into a positive. If you're doing your own research and your own reading on your off time, you're going to know when you're getting BS training and turn that into a positive. And I used him as an example, a shining example of what I'm never going to be when I was going to be eventually on my own. And I've kept that ever since. There's things I know I'll never be, I'll never do, because I witnessed it as a young guy, and even then just knew it was wrong. So having improper mentorship, it sucks, and it's doing you a disservice, but it's not an excuse for curbing your advancement. You need to put the time in on your own. I know we've got families, I've got family, I've got kids. I still had to do a lot of sacrificing to get ahead of that curve. I didn't come into this trade when I was 14, 17, like some people had the blessing of having somebody that took them in that early, maybe a family member, and trained them. And they've got 20 years now by the time they're 30, or 35. I work with guys like that, and I envy that. But I can't wallow in that. I had to do what I could to catch up as best I could, and that was non-stop absorption of knowledge from exterior sources, outside and off the clock. So I just wanted to throw that out there to maybe jumpstart, light a fire under some of your asses, some of the apprentices that feel stagnant at work. They don't see a future. You have an amazing future in this trade. A lot of the bitter people in this trade have not done what they needed to do to break out of their situation. This trade is so massive in spectrum of what you can do, what area you can be in. You never know it all. You know, it's such a vague, HVAC/R is such a vague field. There's a million things you can do and be productive to society and have a thoroughly fulfilling career, feed your kids, feed your wife, feed your family, feed your husband, whatever, and have a lot of pride in yourself. So stick with it, but put the time in on your own, and you'll be amazed at where you can go. So I hope that helps some of you newer guys coming into the trade that have felt a little bit lost. And I'll keep trying to, my channel, I'm trying to tailor it towards the niche of this type of thing, helping brand new guys go in the right direction. So there's so many of you that are smarter than me out there already putting content on the technical aspect and actually making repairs, and I've learned a lot from all of you as well. I'm not trying to encroach, but hopefully some of these words can be taken to heart and help some of you out. Thanks again. I'll talk to you soon.